Stop getting dressed the same way you did 10 years ago. Not because anything is wrong with you, because your coloring has shifted, your frame is exactly the same size it always was, and the specific tricks that make a shorter frame look taller and lighter and more alive are not the ones anyone ever actually teaches. Here's the thing. Most look younger advice talks about your face, serums, makeup, injectables, all of it aimed at what's above your collar. And those things matter, but they're competing with what's surrounding your face every time you leave the house: fabric, color, proportion, the entire visual context your face sits inside. Fix the context and your face reads differently before you've changed a single thing on it. This video goes somewhere else entirely. What you wear around that face, how it frames it, how the colors near it interact with your current skin and hair, that combination is doing more work either for you or against you than almost anything sitting in a medicine cabinet. 6 secrets today, not 6 things to buy, 6 things to understand. And the last one, the one we're building toward from the very first second of this video, is the reason the other 5 keep failing for most women who try them one at a time. It's the thing underneath all of them. And once you see it, you'll understand exactly why fixing your hem, your color, and your neckline in isolation barely registers. Stay for that one. Everything else makes more sense once you have it. Let's start with the secret that costs nothing and takes less than 60 seconds to check right now. But before we get there, here's the one thing I want you to hold on to through everything we're about to cover. Every single secret in this video works through the same mechanism, where the eye lands, what it sees first, what it follows toward. When you understand that mechanism, 6 separate tips stop feeling like a list to memorize and start feeling like one unified idea applied 6 different ways. That's when they compound. That's when photos start looking different. That's when people start asking what you did, when the answer is simply that you started asking where you wanted the eye to go, and then dressed backward from the answer. Secret 6. Open the neckline. The neckline sitting closest to your face is doing more work than any product you own. Here's what most women don't know. A neckline creates a frame, and a frame either draws the eye toward what's inside it or away from it. A high, closed neckline, a crew neck, a fully buttoned collar, a stiff turtleneck does something specific on a petite frame. It shortens the visible distance between your shoulder and your chin, compressing the neck, adding visual weight to the upper chest, and generally pulling the eye away from your face rather than toward it. An open neckline does the opposite. A V-neck, even a modest one, a soft wrap, a scoop. Any shape that creates a downward angle from your collarbone toward your chest draws the eye upward as it follows that angle, and upward means toward your face, your eyes, your expression, the things that actually register as you when someone meets you across a room. On a shorter frame, this matters more than it does on a taller one because there's less vertical space to spare between your shoulder and your chin. A high neckline can eat up a third of it. An open one gives it all back. Try this right now if you own both. Put on a crew neck. Look in the mirror, then open the top 2 buttons or switch to a V-neck in the same color. Notice how much more length suddenly appears between your face and your shoulder. Not new length. Length that was always there, just no longer hidden. That's not a minor difference. That's the foundation every other fix in this video builds on. There's one more neckline detail worth knowing specifically for women whose neck has softened with age, and most of us feel some version of this by 60. A V-neckline that angles inward rather than widening dramatically draws the eye down the center of the chest rather than across the width of it. Center movement reads as longer, vertical, taller. Width reads as the opposite. The angle of the V matters as much as its presence. Narrow and central beats wide and horizontal every single time. Secret 5. Dress monochromatic. The fix almost nobody mentions and almost nobody tries until they do and can't go back. Monochromatic dressing. Not head-to-toe matching, which reads as costume. Head-to-toe tonal, The same color family at the top and the bottom, even if one is lighter or darker than the other. Here's the mechanism. The human eye naturally stops wherever one color meets a different one. On a petite frame, a color break at the waist divides you visually at the one point where height can least afford to be halved. Your torso becomes one block, your legs become another, and whatever actual height you have reads as shorter than it is because the eye measured each section separately instead of the whole. Remove the color break, and the eye travels the full length of you in one continuous movement. Same body, same height, but now the eye read it as one uninterrupted column, and columns read as taller. A navy top with slightly deeper navy pants. A camel blouse over off-white trousers, cream on cream, soft taupe on taupe. None of these need to match exactly. They just need to stay in the same family so no hard line announces itself at your waist. This is the one detail that makes every other proportion fix amplify. Get this right, and the neckline we just covered does more work. Get this wrong, and the best hem in the world barely registers. There's a version of this that specifically works for petite women with shorter torsos, wearing the top color slightly lighter at the top and slightly deeper at the bottom of the same tonal family. The lighter tone near the face lifts attention upward toward your expression. The slightly deeper tone at the bottom grounds the silhouette without making the lower half feel heavy. This isn't matching, it's tonal gradient, and on a petite frame it creates the most optically elongating column you can build without any tailoring at all. If this sounds complicated, start with a single color and different textures, a matte navy top and a slightly shiny navy pant, a ribbed cream top and a smooth cream trouser. Same color, different textures, no waist break, no flatness. Secret 4. Scale your jewelry right. Navy? Here's one that will surprise you. Not because it's complicated, but because the conventional advice runs exactly backward. You've probably heard that petite women should avoid bold accessories, big earrings, statement necklaces, anything dramatic, because it overwhelms a smaller frame. Some stylists repeat this constantly, and it sounds like it makes sense. It's wrong. Here's what actually happens. On a petite frame, very small jewelry disappears. The face is smaller, the space around it is proportionally tighter, and a tiny stud earring or a thread-thin chain just gets lost, which means the face also gets slightly lost, because the jewelry was supposed to frame it. No frame, less focus. What actually works is medium-scale jewelry with clear lines, not oversized, genuinely medium, a hoop that sits at the ear rather than dangling to the shoulder, a pendant necklace at the collarbone rather than layered chains at the chest, a single ring with presents rather than a cluster of tiny ones. The distinction is this. Jewelry should frame the face, not compete with it. Competition happens when the piece is too large or too heavy. Disappearing happens when it's too small. The sweet spot is visible without being the loudest thing in the room. Test this yourself. Wear your smallest, most understated jewelry for a day, then your most dramatic piece, and compare photos from both. Notice which version your face actually shows up in. The type matters too. Drop earrings that move, draw the eye downward toward the jaw, usually the wrong direction on a petite frame. Hoops that sit close to the ear, or studs at medium scale, keep the eye at face level. Earrings that pick up your eye color or hair tone create a path that ends at your most distinctive feature. That's the difference between framing and competing. We're 3 secrets in, halfway through, and every one so far has been about how things frame your face. The next one is about your body, and it's where the younger part of this actually kicks in. Secret 3. Fix the posture first. There's a test you can do in a fitting room in 10 seconds that most women never learn exists. Stand naturally. Let your arms hang at your sides. Look at your hands. If you can see the backs of your hands clearly from the front, your posture is relatively upright. If you can see the tops of your hands, your shoulders have rotated inward, a sign the weight of daily life has been gradually rounding them forward and they've stayed there. That inward rotation does something specific to a petite frame. It collapses the chest slightly, shortens the visible neck, and creates the impression of someone carrying something heavy even when their hands are empty. Age isn't doing that. Posture is. And posture is correctable in a way that age isn't. The simple fix isn't standing at attention. It's one deliberate habit. When you walk into any room, take one full breath before you enter. Let your shoulders settle back on the exhale and walk in from that position. Not all day, not perfectly, just that one transition repeated enough times that it becomes automatic. The difference, caught in a candid photo, can read as years. Here's what nobody tells you about posture specifically on a petite frame. Every inch of height you've quietly lost to rounded shoulders is height you can get back without surgery, without shoes, without anything external at all. It's already there, it's just been folded away. The next secret is related, but it's not about your body at all. It's about the one thing you check last when you get dressed, if you check it at all. One more thing. When shoulders round forward, your neckline closes regardless of its cut. A V-neck folds slightly inward as the shoulders rotate, and the elongating effect disappears. Posture isn't just affecting height, it's undoing the work your clothes were doing before you put them on. Secret 2. Choose the right shoe sole. Your shoes are deciding the conversation before anyone speaks. A rounded, bulky sole adds visual weight to the base of your entire silhouette. On a petite frame, that weight sits right where the eye exits the body, the last thing it registers before moving away. A heavy exit reads as heavier overall. The eye never fully makes it back up to your face because it got distracted at the floor. A clean sole, pointed toe, almond toe, low block heel, slim flat, does the reverse. The eye exits cleanly, and because there's nothing to stop at, it loops back up, back to your face, back to your expression, back to you. This is not about high heels. A flat with a clean, narrow sole does more for a petite frame than a chunky platform that adds 2 inches while visually widening the same amount at the base. Buy one pair with a clean, structured sole that's also genuinely comfortable. Try it against a shoe you own that you'd call bulky. Take a full-length photo in both. Look at the photos on your phone, not in the mirror where you can compensate with posture. On your phone, the way a stranger's eye actually sees you. That's not a minor distinction. That's the visual equivalent of a 10-pound difference in how the whole body reads, and it costs nothing you don't already have access to. There's a color factor, too. A shoe in the same color family as your pant continues the monochromatic column all the way to the floor. A contrasting shoe cuts the column at the ankle, the worst possible place to cut it. This is why a nude-toned flat often reads as taller than a bold-colored one with more heel. It's not the height, it's the continuity. 5 secrets down. The last one is the operating system all 5 run on. 5 secrets down. Every one of them has been an individual fix. Here's the one that explains why the other 5 keep working for some women and barely registering for others. Secret 1. Ask where you want the eye to go. There's a question nobody teaches you to ask before you get dressed, and it's the reason 2 women can wear identical outfits and only one of them looks like she chose it. The question is, what do I want the eye to land on? Not what's comfortable, not what fits, not what's clean. What do you want someone looking at you to notice first? For a petite woman over 60, the answer is almost always the face, the eyes, the expression, the presence. Everything else in this video exists to get the eye there faster. The open neckline creates the path. The monochromatic column removes the interruptions, the jewelry frames the destination, the posture makes the entrance, the shoe keeps the eye moving upward at the end. None of that works if you didn't ask the question first, because without it, the choices you make are random. You're adding elements without knowing what job each one is supposed to do. A beautiful blouse in the wrong color competes with your face instead of sending the eye toward it. A statement earring that's one size too large does the same. Every mistake on the previous list, the bag, the glasses, the rounded shoulder, all of them were accidents, things chosen without asking what you wanted someone to see. Start with the question, dress backwards from the answer, and check, before you leave, whether the eye actually lands where you intended. That is the difference between getting dressed and getting dressed on purpose. And on a petite frame, purpose is doing about 60% of the work. Here's the test. Before you walk out the door tomorrow, stand in front of a mirror and ask where your eye goes first when you look at your whole reflection. If it goes to your face, you've built the outfit correctly. If it stops at your hip or your ankle or a busy pattern on your chest, something in the construction is pulling the eye away from where you intended it to go. That specific thing is the only thing you need to adjust, not the whole outfit. The one element redirecting attention you didn't mean to redirect. Bonus, 2 or 3 secrets at a time. One more thing worth knowing before we close because it builds directly on everything we just covered. You don't need all 6 secrets every day. You need 2 or 3 of them working together, chosen deliberately based on where you're going and what you want someone to walk away remembering about you. A morning when you need presence, open neckline, monochromatic, posture check at the door. An evening when you want elegance, medium jewelry at the face, clean shoe sole, one deliberate color story. A day when nothing feels right, ask the question first. What do you want someone to notice? Start there. Build out from one intentional choice instead of 7 accidental ones. The most important detail in all 6 secrets isn't any specific neckline or palette. It's the moment dressing by default becomes dressing by intention, where do I want the eye to go gets added to the decision. That moment, repeated enough mornings, is what most people mean when they say someone has style. It's not a gift, it's a question asked consistently. Conclusion: 10 years younger isn't about reversing anything. It's about finally asking what you want the eye to see, and then making sure that's actually what it finds. The neckline that opens space, the color that creates height, the jewelry that frames your face instead of disappearing from it, the posture that gives back the height comfort quietly took, the shoe that finishes the line cleanly, and underneath all 5, the question that makes them work together instead of each one pulling in a separate direction. Which of these 6 are you trying first? Tell me in the comments. I want to know which one you'd never tried before today, and what changes when you do. One last thing. 10 years younger isn't a number. It's what happens when someone looks at you and sees your presence before they register your age, when the eye goes to your face, to your expression, to the person inside the outfit, before it starts cataloging anything else. That's not magic. That's where the eye was pointed when you got dressed this morning. Point it there deliberately and consistently, and the rest follows. And if any of this changed how you'll get dressed tomorrow, stay close. Next week, we're covering the 6 pieces that actually make petite women over 60 look expensive without a single designer label, and the exact reason most women end up buying the wrong version of each one.